If you could just sign here, we can begin the proceedings immediately.
It was late, around 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I was just winding down on the couch. My phone buzzed, and a message from my wife, Jenna, lit up the screen. Her car had broken down. That was the first part. The second part was where it happened, right near her ex-boyfriend's house. She told me it was too late to get a tow truck, so she was just going to sleep there. She'd see me in the morning. I just stared at the message. For a second, I didn't know whether to laugh or get angry. My fingers flew across the screen. "Why didn't you call me?" "I can come get you." Her reply came back almost instantly. "I didn't want to bother you." It was such a flimsy excuse, so hollow it echoed. A cold knot formed in my stomach. "Fine," I typed back. "Don't hurry home." After that, silence. She didn't respond for a long time. Sitting there in the quiet house, everything started to click into place. All the little things from the past few months began replaying in my mind. She'd been so distant, like she was in the same room but a million miles away. Her phone was her new best friend, and she'd snatch it away or flip it over the second I walked in. The late nights at work became more frequent, always with a vague explanation. I'd given her the benefit of the doubt, telling myself I was just being insecure, that I needed to trust her more. But the evidence was piling up until it was too high to ignore. I remembered the nights she came home smelling of a cologne that wasn't mine. I remembered the sudden influx of new clothes, always brushed off as amazing discount finds. I remembered the arguments we'd have, where I'd try to talk about the distance between us, and somehow it would always end with her accusing me of being paranoid and controlling. It was a classic deflection, and I'd fallen for it every single time. Lying on the couch, I wondered how long she thought she could keep up the act. How long did she think I would play the part of the naive, trusting husband? The answer was simple: not one more minute. The quiet of the house, which usually felt lonely, suddenly felt like an opportunity. I wasn't just going to sit there and wait. I decided to act. I made a few calls. The first was to a 24-hour locksmith. I scheduled an appointment for first thing in the morning. The second was a text message to a lawyer I had consulted a few months back, but never had the courage to hire. I told him I was ready to move forward. He replied almost immediately, which was a small comfort. We set up a meeting for the next day. Then I went to my computer. Over the months, I had started saving things, almost subconsciously. Screenshots of suspicious messages I'd glimpsed, bank statements with charges that didn't add up, dates and times of her late nights. I had been preparing for this moment without even admitting it to myself. I printed everything, the stack of papers growing thicker with each sheet. The truth stung, but there was a strange peace in finally facing it. The uncertainty was gone. Around midnight, my phone buzzed again. It was Jenna, going to bed. "Talk in the morning," followed by a smiley face, as if she'd just told me she was staying late at a friend's place. The audacity of it was breathtaking. I didn't answer. I just put my phone down on the coffee table, face down, and took a deep, long breath. It felt like I'd been holding it for months. That night, for the first time in a very long time, I slept soundly. The locksmith was prompt and professional. He changed the locks in under 20 minutes. As he dropped the new set of keys into my palm, they felt heavy, like a metal. They were a symbol of my freedom. I packed a small bag for myself. I wasn't leaving my home. I was just getting ready for a busy day. I left the house long before she would even think of returning. My meeting with the lawyer was straightforward. I laid out the stack of papers on his polished desk. He listened patiently, nodding as I explained the story, the lies, the gut feeling that had been gnawing at me. He looked through the evidence and told me I had more than enough to protect myself and my assets. He drafted the necessary paperwork right then and there. I signed the documents without a single moment of hesitation. And you know what? I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt relieved. I felt a surge of strength I hadn't felt in our entire marriage. For the first time, I was taking back control. When he handed me the final folder with all the copies, it felt like a door swinging open to a new chapter. Later that afternoon, the calls started. My phone began buzzing relentlessly, Jenna's name flashing on the screen again and again. I ignored every single call. Then came the barrage of texts. "Why won't the key work? Are you serious? You changed the locks? You're overreacting. Where are you? The tone shifted from confusion to anger, then to guilt-tripping. My ex was just being helpful. You're so insecure. I didn't reply to a single message. I just let them come. When the calls and texts finally stopped, I drove home. She was there, waiting on the front porch, her face a storm of fury and confusion. "Why did you lock me out?" she demanded, her voice sharp. I didn't raise my voice. I calmly walked up the steps and handed her the folder from the lawyer. Her face went pale as she read the first page. Petition for dissolution of marriage. "Are you serious?" she whispered, her anger dissolving into shock. "Completely," I said, my voice steady. She started trying to explain, saying it was all just an innocent misunderstanding. I cut her off. "Jenna, trust doesn't break in a single night. It shatters piece by piece, lie by lie. The same way you shattered ours." The tears started then, the begging for another chance, but her tears didn't affect me anymore. "Chances run out when respect disappears," I told her. She tried to push past me to get into the house. I stood my ground, blocking the doorway. "This is my house too." She yelled. "The court will decide that," I replied calmly. She called me cruel. "Cruelty," I said, "is sending your husband a text from your ex-boyfriend's house at 10 p.m. She accused me of being cold. "You've been cold for months, Jenna. I'm just matching your energy." Her voice, which used to hold so much power over me, was just noise now. Eventually, she saw it in my eyes. She saw I wasn't going to break. Her shoulders slumped in defeat. With shaking hands, she clutched the papers and walked away, her angry shouts turning into muffled sobs. I stepped inside and closed the door. Leaning against it, I listened to the silence. It wasn't the lonely, heavy silence of before. This was a peaceful silence. I walked through the house, room by room, and it felt like it was finally mine again. I sat at the kitchen table and placed the new keys beside me. I took a deep breath, a genuine, cleansing breath, and felt a calm settle over me that I hadn't experienced in years. I knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but it would be honest. And I made myself a promise right then and there. I would never ignore the red flags again. In the quiet of my home, my life, my evening, I finally felt free. Thanks for listening to my story. If you're going through something similar, remember that your peace of mind is worth everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.